Welcome to Music at Noon. It's always good to see you with your smiles and your chit-chatting as if you are a happy social group. I think you are. And we allow that here. We allow you to be happy. We insist that you be happy. Music at Noon. Today, our artists, Keys and Breeze. We've had the breeze this week. Here are the keys. And we've had Keys and Breeze here in this sanctuary since February 2009. So we are celebrating 15 years in this sanctuary of Keys and Breeze, and they always bring us not only entertainment, but inspiration. They give us both, though, and that makes for a great mix. So it's Alice Lenaghan, who is playing multiple wind instruments today. And that makes for lots of variety. And the wonderful accompaniment and solo music that we will hear from Jana Olvera. One is local, or one is from Woodland, that would be Jana, is from Woodland. And Alice, it's not Oakland, is it? She's from the Bay Area. She's the principal flutist with the Oakland Symphony, I believe. So let's give Keys and Breeze a nice, warm welcome.
Good afternoon, and we are so pleased to be here. We're excited to play a concert for you. It's lovely to see so many happy faces here live, and also those joining us here on the live stream. And we are glad together to come together and celebrate the changing season which is upon us as spring arrives. But it's also a good reminder to change our clocks as we all spring forward this Sunday. That has already come up. Can you believe it? But we want to take you with us as we travel the world and stop off at many places to celebrate all things spring. The music of birds, of blooms, and of green places. So, our first stop then is the Gardens of Scotland. Our first composer, James Oswald, is a Scottish Baroque composer. He was always a passionate collector and publisher of Scottish folk tunes, but he also wrote in all of the typical Baroque genres. His style is quite unique and quirky. He uses odd lengths of phrases, very unexpected harmonies here and there, and then of course rhythms with a Scottish flair. The airs for the season, some of which we'll play for you, is quite a large collection of little dance pieces and airs, where Oswald put together in groups of the 4 seasons. Each of these seasons was represented by several mini suites, anywhere with little movements from 1 to 4 movements each. And in addition to that, it's very unusual, he titled each of these mini suites with the name of an appropriate flower or shrub of the season. So we thought it would be really lovely to begin our spring concert today playing some music titled by the flowers that will most likely be the first to appear in all of our gardens. That would be the Ranunculus with its many colors and very tightly woven petals. Then we move to the Crocus. That actually probably comes up first, right? With its shades of purple and lavender touched with yellow here and there. And finally, the Narcissus, or the daffodil, with its long stems and sunny yellow trumpets. wrong flower together. So let's play the same flower. It's a cacophony of garden.
Good afternoon. I am the Keys of Keys and Breeze. My name is Jana, and I'm so glad to see all of you. Thank you for coming out on kind of a cloudy day. It certainly feels like we're still in the middle of winter. But when springtime's warmer weather finally arrives, many of us will head to local plant nurseries to refresh our domestic gardens, searching for plants that are colorful and will survive our hot summers. Sometimes we are lucky to find plants that are both beautiful and highly fragrant. And the titles of the next two pieces fall into that category, continuing on the floral theme. The lilac plant, or shrub, is prized for its beautifully perfumed blossoms and was the subject of a song by Sergei Rachmaninoff, which was included in his set of 12 romances for voice and piano, originally composed in 1902. But Rachmaninoff arranged this beautiful song for solo piano around 1913. The lyrics of the original song, part of which I will read to you here, are very free and make you think of meandering through a beautiful meadow. It says, "In the morning at dawn, through the dew-clad grass, I shall walk, breathing in the freshness of morning. And to the fragrant shade where lilacs cluster, I shall go in search of happiness." Next, the heady fragrance of honeysuckle, another popular garden plant, is depicted musically by American composer Amy Beach in her 1922 collection of pieces, From Grandmother's Garden. What a great title, which also includes pieces representing morning glories, heartsease, very old-fashioned flower, mignonette, rosemary, and rue. The twisted and climbing nature of the vines is portrayed musically by rising and falling chromatic lines that seem to creep, meander, and wind throughout the piece. Lilacs and Honeysuckle by Sergei Rachmaninoff and Amy Beach.
Wow, so lovely. I can really hear all of the twisty vines and the beautiful blooms there, right? Well, we will move now from the nostalgia of Grandma's garden to a bright sunny new day in France. Our next composer, Lili Boulanger, was a child prodigy, for she studied many different instruments and music composition and theory at the Paris Conservatory. Then she went on to become the very first female winner of the Prix de Rome, which is a very prestigious international competition for composers. So we thought it would be a good idea to play some of her music here in March, which happens to be Women's History Month, right? Unfortunately, she died far too young at the age of 24 after a lifelong collection of illnesses. You may actually know, music fans, her older sister quite well, for her older sister and very best friend was Nadia Boulanger, the very well-known composer and composition teacher. So this piece we're about to play, De Matin de Printemps, or A Spring Morning, is one of Lili's last completed works. And it exists in several different editions for flute and or violin or orchestra and harp and so forth. And it is very likely that some of these editions were edited by her older sister, Nadia. But it is charming and joyous with its many upward running scales. Then there is the sparkle and energy of a bright new day, but always sounding very, very French. So perhaps it will recall images of skipping through the lavender fields of Provence, leaping up after butterflies. Well, maybe chasing after butterflies in the fields of France is not in your calendar for this week, but another fun spring activity definitely is, and that is listening to the birds in our own backyards as they return to spring to map out their own little territories and begin their new families. So this next piece is written by a California composer. His name is Benjamin Boone. Although he grew up in the foothills of North Carolina, he now teaches composition and music theory and plays the saxophone at Cal State Fresno. In this piece, Nature's Song, he has set out to do something quite unusual. Rather than writing just general birdie-sounding music, he wanted to transcribe the actual pitches and notes and inflections that some species of birds actually do. And he has a very good way of describing this. I'll read from his notes. I had begun transcribing the song of the Kauai-o-o and listening to North Carolina songbirds on the website of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. I altered these songs only slightly through repetition, octave displacement, and putting them in dialogue with each other. The birds, then, are the actual composers of this work, and it is my hope that by hearing their music in a new context, we might connect to and appreciate the sounds nature presents to us every day. Now, that website, I'm certain that most of you have that website up, saved in a browser on your computer all day, like I do, so you can consult it throughout the day. But if not, you can indeed hear of these songs and learn a bunch of other wonderful fun bird facts at allaboutbirds.org. Now, before we go on our birding by ear adventure trip together, I wanted to give you a few pointers, some ID that will help you keep organized so you can add them to your life list as we go. Here they are. So first, beginning with the house finch. These pretty sparrow-like birds with red heads and chests will mob your feeders in pretty large flocks often. And they twitter very excitedly, jumbled warbling. If you listen in, you may decide it's a little bit jazzy. Then I'm certain you're familiar with the American robin, for he is spring's true early bird. And they will fly into our yards to claim and defend the best wormy patches from one another. Their song, morning song, has often been written as a mnemonic like this. Cheerily, cheer up, cheerily, cheer up, the robin. He is paired with the song sparrow. Song sparrows are known for their very wide variation in songs, both geographically and across their entire range, as well as down to the individual bird. These birds compete with one another by adding complex riffs in the middle of their songs, just like a jazz artist might. But their songs do often begin with a single note, very clearly repeated. The Kauai-o-o is a very special bird indeed. It is a member of the Hawaiian honey-eater family. Its song is very flute-like, ethereal, and otherworldly. I really do recommend that you go and find this song at least, which you can easily do at YouTube if you put in Kauai-o-o into the search bar. There you will likely find the 1987 recording of a male, which note for note is transcribed in this movement you're about to hear. This male is singing for a female he doesn't realize no longer exists. And then when he passed away in 1987, he not only was the last bird of his species, but also the last bird of the entire avian family of Hawaiian honey eaters. Finally, we have a birding final exam of sorts, birding by ear final exam, where we will listen for 5 different species altogether. The Carolina chickadee says, "Phoebe, Phoebe." The mourning dove you have in your yards, they sound like a wheezy owl with their sad little songs. Hoo, hoo, hoo. The tufted titmouse will say, "Peter, Peter, 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 Peter." And the Carolina wren, being a wren, has very excited, hyperactive song. He will say, "Germany, Germany, 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 Germany." Then the eastern towhee will likely interrupt and sternly demand you drink your tea. So happy spring birding to everyone. I hope you will enjoy your walks in the morning now better, and some of those birds live here. All right. Well, another thing that happens in the springtime, a celebration that many of us look forward to, is St. Patrick's Day, which happens every year on March 17th, coming right up. So we have a piece that will put you right in the mood. Irishman Sir Hamilton Hardy was a very talented keyboardist, conductor, and composer. He began as a church organist, much like our host, Brad Slocum, and also became a very accomplished piano accompanist. He later held a post as a conductor of the London Symphony Orchestra as well as the BBC Symphony. His compositions often have Irish titles or draw on Irish melodies and folklore. This piece, In Ireland, was an original fantasy for flute and piano. It begins with sweeping, grand introduction, with the piano waves splashing up upon the shore of the Emerald Isle. The following scene is described in these words printed in the score. In a Dublin street at dusk, two wandering musicians are playing. All right, this is a real treat, this next piece. Like our first piece, if you remember, the airs of the seasons, this piece, from the very beginning, this piece here, our last selection program for today, is very similar in a lot of ways. It is also a suite. Let me find my notes here. It is also a suite made up of smaller pieces that honor or are inspired by the pleasant outdoors and home gardens. Our composer, Paul Reed, is a British composer first gaining recognition as a pianist and songwriter for children's programming. Then he later composed music for many classic BBC TV serials that ran in the 80s. For example, A Tale for Two Cities and Jane Eyre. He also collaborated on a theme, opening theme for the British version of the Antiques Roadshow. And that theme is one of the most recognizable TV themes in all of the UK. Gardening enthusiasts around the world may, however, be very familiar with another much-loved BBC series, that is The Victorian Kitchen Garden. This was produced in 1987. It is a 13-part docu-series featuring the master gardener, Harry Dobson. Paul Reed wrote all of the original music for this series, and he went on to receive an award for the best TV theme music. His style, I'm certain you'll love. It's quite a treat. It's very sweet and tonal, and it can evoke color and atmosphere within a very small space. Originally, the score called for clarinet and harp mostly, but this arrangement for flute and piano is no less lovely. The prelude, which is the title sequence to the series, is open and contented. Spring is playful with more bird music. Mists is mysterious and covered. Maybe sunlight glimmers off in the distance. With Exotica, think of alien life forms we may encounter in our gardens, like sprouting seeds, inchworms, and fairy flowers. Summer, with a nod to the heat that will soon be upon us all, is sunny and warm. Thank you all so very much. It's a real pleasure to put this program for you together today. We couldn't wait to play it because all of the music was so lovely. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you also for those who have joined us in the live stream. Thank you for Brad for inviting us back. Yes, thank you, Brad. And thank you also to his team for this wonderful facility and running the cameras and putting live stream up for us all. We do have one last piece for you, which I'm certain you'll all enjoy. It's one movement from Claude Bolling's suite, another suite, for jazz, flute, and piano. entitled Irlandaise.
Thank you, Dr. Lenaghan. Thank you, Dr. Olvera. These are two doctors that heal with sound. And you have a very sound profession. It's just been great to have you over the years, and every time we can count on you entertaining us, educating us, and inspiring us. And you both are so accomplished. It's a good thing you get along, because we can tell. Alice, are you Irish?
I am, yes.
Is that your maiden name? Lenaghan is your maiden?
It's my name.
Is your name?
Lenaghan, yes.
Your maiden name, yes.
Yes.
And
I am part Irish.
are you? What's the other part?
Polish, German, and English.
S- Some of the finest DNA for music, in my biased opinion. Anyway, just thank you so much over the years for all the variety and the entertainment that you've given us. And as you can see, your promotion worked well for you, but your music also worked well for you, because you have one of our nicest turnouts for quite a few months, I would say. Thank you. You deserve it too. Please come again. I'm glad that you did something by Paul Reed, who had a short life. So it's good that he has his beautiful music is being spread around. But summer was just far too short, like summer always is. But that's okay. Beautiful. Okay, yes, we have another concert next week. Of course. Wood, Wind, and Wire. And you can see what that's all about, because that means we have a violin, we have some woodwinds, Baroque woodwinds, and we have a harpsichord, quite a few wires. Hope you come to the www.music at noon next week. Thank you. See you then.
Ha ha ha.